All right, listen, everybody. I can't go into too much detail, but there is some very, very odd stuff going on. I'm certainly under attack.
In July 2025, a young inventor from Atlanta, Georgia, once hailed as a rising star in climate innovation, vanished without warning. Julian Brown, just 21 years old, had captivated millions with his solar-powered invention, Plastoline.
Today we are about to make history. Are you guys ready? I have brought with me Plastodiesel, a diesel alternative made from plastic waste that has just passed.
A machine designed to convert discarded plastic into gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. His disappearance left a lot of unanswered questions. Was he silenced by powerful interests threatened by his technology? Did burnout and pressure push him into hiding? Or is there more to the story than anyone knows? Today, we'll unveil what really happened to the young inventor behind Plastoline. Let's get started. How the Plastoline Project changed everything. Through the power of social media, particularly TikTok and Instagram, 21 years old Julian began showcasing a home-built device that could convert plastic waste into usable fuels. Named Plastoline, this solar-powered invention promised to bridge the gap between environmental conservation and energy production, all while functioning outside of conventional industrial infrastructure. At its core, Plastoline is a pyrolysis reactor, but what made it stand out was its energy source and process efficiency. Traditional pyrolysis involves heating plastic waste to break down its chemical structure into fuels, usually using direct thermal energy from burning fossil fuels or electricity. However, Julian's approach incorporated microwave pyrolysis, a lesser-used method that employs microwave radiation to heat materials internally rather than externally. This results in faster, more uniform heating and fewer emissions. Even more impressively, Julian powered his system using solar energy, making Plastoline potentially the world's first solar-powered, microwave-based plastic-to-fuel converter. This set it apart from other devices that are manually intensive, slow, or reliant on grid power. This invention is set to change everything. In fact, Julian's own claims went beyond novelty. He asserted that Plastoline was not only a more sustainable way to dispose of plastic, but also a viable means of producing three major fuel types: gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Unlike the typical benchtop models used for educational or experimental purposes, his system was designed with industrial scalability in mind. He believed it could be scaled up to work in developing nations or remote communities, or even be adapted for municipal waste management in larger cities. In interviews, including a November 2024 feature with Canvas Rebel, Julian emphasized that he wasn't the first to convert plastic to fuel, but possibly the first to do it at scale with such a minimal environmental footprint using solar power and recycled components. The path to building Plastoline was as unorthodox as it was resourceful. Julian began learning about mechanical systems and energy engineering in his teenage years, earning welding certifications in stick, MIG, and TIG techniques while still in high school. He immersed himself in hands-on experimentation, sourcing old solar panels, repurposing scrap metal, and modifying household components to develop the prototype. How does the Plastoline work? The first versions of Plastoline were constructed in his backyard workshop in Atlanta, where he would record video logs of the development process, post test runs, and explain the science behind the reactions, all in layman's terms, to a rapidly growing online following. By early 2025, Julian's TikTok and Instagram accounts had amassed over 1.7 million followers, drawn not just by his invention, but also by his candid, passionate delivery and clear demonstrations. He frequently posted videos showing the conversion process in action, plastic waste being loaded into the reactor, followed by sequences where he showcased the liquid fuel outputs and solar input metrics. So here's how Julian's Plastoline device works. First, plastic waste is collected, cleaned, and shredded into smaller pieces. These plastic bits are then loaded into a sealed chamber inside the device. This chamber is crucial because pyrolysis requires a low oxygen or oxygen-free environment to work. If oxygen were present, the plastic would burn, not break down. Next comes microwave pyrolysis. Traditional pyrolysis uses external heat, like flames or electric coils, to break down materials. But microwave pyrolysis uses microwaves, the same type used in kitchen appliances, but more powerful, to directly heat the plastic from within. This method is faster, more energy efficient, and capable of breaking down plastics more uniformly to make the plastics absorb microwaves effectively. A catalyst or microwave absorbing material, often carbon-based, is mixed in with the plastic or placed in the reactor. The microwaves excite the molecules, heating the material from the inside and triggering a thermal decomposition reaction. As the plastic heats up to high temperatures, typically between 350 and 500 degrees Celsius, its long hydrocarbon chains begin to break apart. These chains are the same ones found in fossil fuels. As the plastic decomposes, it produces vapors that rise and flow into a condensation system. This part of the device cools the hot vapors and turns them back into liquid form. The result is a mix of fuels, such as gasoline-range hydrocarbons, diesel-like substances, and kerosene-range products suitable for jet fuel. Any leftover gases that don't condense can be either stored or safely burned to help power the device. This makes the system even more self-sustaining. What makes Julian's version especially unique is that it's designed to be solar-powered. He used solar panels and batteries to generate and store electricity, which then powers the microwave generator and control systems. That means his Plastoline prototype could theoretically operate off-grid, using only sunlight and plastic waste to produce energy-dense fuels. Plastoline takes on two major problems: plastic pollution and fossil fuel dependency, and tries to solve them with one device. It turns trash into fuel using the sun. As his project gained attention, so too did opportunities. In 2024, Julian was selected as a 776 Foundation Climate Fellow, a distinction awarded to young climate visionaries by the 776 Foundation, a philanthropic initiative backed by Alexis Ohanian, co-founder of Reddit. The fellowship program supports early-stage innovators working on disruptive climate solutions. This recognition helped legitimize his work in broader circles and introduced him to a network of environmental entrepreneurs and investors interested in practical green technologies. To support the scaling of Plastoline, Julian also launched a GoFundMe campaign in early 2025 with an ambitious goal of raising $1 million to develop a continuous flow version of the Plastoline reactor that could operate at commercial scale. By July 2025, the campaign had raised between $30,000 and $35,000, driven largely by the enthusiasm of his online supporters and those within the environmental tech community. Julian also officially launched NatureJab, a startup designed to develop, refine, and promote the Plastoline system. NatureJab was envisioned as a platform for outreach, education, and sustainable innovation. Through this venture, Julian aimed to establish partnerships with environmental organizations, municipalities, and research institutions to pilot his technology. Julian's journey and innovations did not go unnoticed by the media. He was featured in multiple online publications and platforms focused on tech and sustainability, including Canvas Rebel, where he detailed the origin and aspirations of Plastoline. In these interviews, he consistently emphasized his belief that ordinary people, even without formal degrees or institutional support, could play a vital role in solving some of the planet's most urgent problems. And then, just like that, in early July 2025, Julian abruptly stopped posting online. Disappearance and last communications. Around the 6th of July 2025, Julian posted what would become his final video to TikTok and Instagram, delivering a cryptic and emotionally charged message that sent shockwaves through his online community. Speaking directly into the camera, he stated, "I'm certainly under attack. Keep me in your prayers. Screen record this." His tone was serious, almost fearful, and he appeared visibly distressed. In the same video, Julian made a series of troubling claims that added urgency to the already alarming post. He mentioned being monitored and followed, referring specifically to the presence of a secret helicopter hovering over him. He warned that he might not survive or could potentially be taken out, strongly implying that his safety was in jeopardy due to external forces. These remarks marked a sharp departure from his usual upbeat, focused content on solar engineering and environmental innovation. For followers who had grown used to his technical demonstrations and hopeful commentary on climate action, this sudden shift into paranoia was jarring and deeply concerning. Within hours, the video was screen-recorded, reposted, and widely circulated across platforms including X, formerly Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube. Tens of thousands of users began commenting, speculating, and attempting to uncover what was happening behind the scenes. Given that Plastoline was designed to convert plastic into fuel using solar-powered microwave pyrolysis, a method that, if scaled successfully, could disrupt multiple industrial sectors, some theorized that Julian had become a target of powerful interests threatened by his innovation. Julian's online silence following the post only deepened the mystery. In the days and then weeks that followed, no new videos, posts, or live updates appeared on any of his verified social media accounts. His website and crowdfunding pages remained static, with no clarification or communication issued by his startup, Nature Jab. His abrupt disappearance, especially after months of highly active engagement, intensified public concern. Julian had previously shared near-daily updates, showcasing technical progress, testing results, and plans for the next phases of the Plastoline reactor. His disappearance created a noticeable vacuum in a community that had been following his journey religiously. Speculation surrounding his disappearance quickly spiraled. One major theory proposed that Julian's work posed a threat to fossil fuel or petrochemical interests. Some users pointed to historical cases where disruptive technologies were allegedly suppressed or co-opted, suggesting Julian might have been intimidated or silenced. Others posited the idea that his project had drawn unwanted attention from government agencies or corporate surveillance operatives. While the Plastoline device had not yet reached commercial scale or attracted institutional contracts, its conceptual potential was enough to ignite speculation. There have been several historical cases where inventors or disruptive technologies were actively suppressed or sidelined, often because they posed a threat to powerful economic or political interests. For instance, in the early 1970s, Texas inventor Tom Ogle built a carburetor that allowed a 1970 Ford Galaxy to travel 200 miles on less than 2 gallons of gasoline, and claimed future designs could achieve 260 to 360 miles per gallon. Ogle refused a multi-million-dollar buyout from oil interests. And then, just like that, his patents and articles, including a feature in Argosy magazine, vanished, and so did he. Similarly, Ohio inventor Stanley Meyer claimed his modified car ran on water by splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen with minimal energy input. After declining what he said was a $1 billion offer to sell the technology, Meyer later died suddenly after a business meeting under mysterious circumstances. Wilhelm Reich is another example. He created a device called the Cloudbuster and claimed it triggered rainfall. In the midst of a drought in Maine in 1953, his equipment allegedly induced precipitation. Yet within months, regulators seized and destroyed his equipment, convicted him under FDA charges, and ended all research. While these cases can be contested or called out as exaggerations, trade groups like the American Petroleum Institute and Fuels Europe have indeed successfully lobbied governments to impede legislation and subsidies for solar energy, electric vehicles, and other clean technologies. Analysis shows that fossil fuel subsidies in 2022 alone exceeded $760 billion in the US and $310 billion in the EU, and green tech advancements were actively constrained to protect entrenched interests. While not every case mirrors the exact circumstances of Julian Brown, these examples showcase a documented pattern. Profound skepticism, legal action, or corporate pressure often follow technologies perceived as disruptive. In several instances, this resistance slowed or even halted adoption. A more grounded concern was raised by mental health advocates and long-time followers who speculated that Julian might have been experiencing extreme stress, burnout, or even a psychological crisis. The demands of inventing, fundraising, educating, and scaling a disruptive technology, mostly on his own, could have taken a severe toll. Some noted that in the months leading up to his final post, Julian appeared increasingly weary in his videos, and there were gaps in his previously consistent content schedule. He had also been managing a high-stakes GoFundMe campaign. Balancing public expectations, financial pressure, and technological demands could easily have overwhelmed a young inventor working largely outside formal institutional support. Interestingly, no official missing persons report was filed with the Atlanta Police Department, and when contacted by reporters in mid-July, police spokespersons confirmed there was no active investigation under Julian's name. This raised further questions about whether his disappearance was voluntary or if he was in hiding. So, where is he now? Where is Julian Brown? Following his final cryptic video post in early July, where he expressed fears of being under surveillance and warned followers to keep me in your prayers, Julian abruptly disappeared from all social media platforms, triggering widespread concern among his 1.7 million followers and prompting a wave of speculation across online communities and media outlets. The Atlanta Police Department, when contacted for comment by local and national media in mid to late July, confirmed that no missing persons report had been filed under Julian Brown's name. Furthermore, they stated that no active investigation into his whereabouts had been opened. This suggests that his family may be aware of his location and has chosen to manage the situation privately. This theory was bolstered by a brief statement issued by his mother, Nia Brown, on July 28, 2025, in which she confirmed that her son was safe. However, she did not disclose where he was staying, whether he had access to medical care or support, or if he would be returning to public life anytime soon. She was very clearly concerned for his safety, hinting that there might still be risks involved in revealing more. Meanwhile, Julian's GoFundMe campaign, originally launched to raise $1 million for further development of Plastoline, remains active and has seen a noticeable surge in activity since his disappearance. By early July, before the viral video, the campaign had raised approximately $30,000 to $35,000. In the weeks following his final post, donation activity significantly increased as supporters rallied to show their concern and keep the project alive. Despite the lack of updates on the campaign since his vanishing, there have been no fraud accusations lodged, and the platform has not flagged or suspended the fundraiser. The global media has also taken note of the story, with major headlines appearing in outlets such as The Sun, Times of India, Daily Mail, and various green tech publications. Within climate science and tech innovation circles, Julian's case is now being cited as an example of the potential vulnerabilities faced by independent inventors working on sensitive or disruptive technologies. While Plastoline was still in the prototype stage and had not yet been deployed commercially, the concept held promise. A solar-powered, scalable system for converting plastic waste into energy would be an attractive solution for low-resource settings and a challenge to fossil fuel-centric infrastructures. His sudden silence just as momentum was building has led some to question, was his invention truly disruptive enough to trigger opposition? And if so, what kind of institutional or legal safeguards exist for young, self-funded inventors navigating these high-stakes fields? Also, What about the helicopter spying on him? Although paranoia can play a role in interpreting unusual observations, there are verified cases where aerial surveillance, including helicopters and drones, has been used to monitor individuals or groups. Many police and federal law enforcement agencies operate surveillance helicopters equipped with high-resolution optical and thermal cameras. For instance, the NYPD acquired an unmarked Bell 412EP helicopter in 2003, with onboard systems capable of phone interception and video recording. It was registered through a shell company, and its operations raised serious privacy concerns after it was revealed that it had been used to record private encounters on a penthouse balcony. Similarly, LAPD's Air Support Division operates 16 helicopters to support routine patrol, pursuits, and crowd monitoring in Los Angeles, often drawing public criticism over noise, privacy, and disproportionate surveillance of certain neighborhoods. That said, civilian-targeted helicopter surveillance is not typical or affirmed by any public records. In most documented cases, helicopters are used at the city or municipal scale, not for personal monitoring of a single independent inventor. Julian's description of being followed by a helicopter may have been a product of paranoia. Private intelligence or corporate entities have indeed used drones much more extensively for surveillance. For instance, in Sonoma County, California, an ACLU lawsuit filed in June 2025 revealed that county authorities flew over 700 drone missions over private properties in 6 years, collecting over 5,600 images of homes. Residents reported feeling watched while in their backyards or hot tubs, often without warrants. Similarly, in Chula Vista, California, police drones equipped with zoom-capable cameras were reportedly flown over immigrant and low-income neighborhoods, capturing footage of everyday life, leading some residents to experience severe anxiety or depression. During the George Floyd protests in 2020, surveillance drones, helicopters, and manned aircraft were deployed across 15 US cities, collecting aerial data that law enforcement agencies and federal bodies accessed for crowd monitoring and investigation. Corporate espionage examples show even more targeted drone use. A 2019 case in Denmark involved Huawei reportedly deploying drones to surveil and potentially intimidate staff at telecom firm TDC during a €200 million 5G contract competition. Julian's claims of being followed by a secret helicopter could stem from perceived surveillance, genuine fear, or misinterpretation of normal aerial activity. If Julian genuinely experienced drone surveillance, that scenario would have far more precedent than a helicopter stalker. Campaign donations rising after his cryptic video could reflect collective anxiety about his safety. In any case, Julian Brown's future remains uncertain. His Instagram, TikTok, and NatureJab websites remain inactive. No official public statement has been issued by him personally. While some in the community continue to hold out hope for his return, perhaps with updates, new developments, or simply reassurance, others are left grappling with the broader implications of his story. Whether Julian re-emerges or not, his work and the circumstances surrounding his disappearance have already left a mark on the environmental innovation landscape. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.